Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so it's like 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m. My body clock is all over the place, and so I'm wide awake, and I'm looking at rumors taking place in regards to Kyrie Irving and the various suitors that are starting to pop up. And of course, there's a new player in town, and that is the L.A. Clippers. Now, naturally, as a Laker fan, I'm going to have a lot of negative feelings about the whole Clippers want a Kyrie thing, but I do not necessarily think that them wanting Kyrie is the worst decision for their organization. Um, Now, obviously, you can look at the Laker aspect of it and say, okay, it probably appeals to their fans to take something from the Lakers. That's one of their gimmicks that they tend to use is waging war against the LA Lakers. Is the hopes of gathering all the Laker haters to be fans of them. And to be honest with you, I don't think too much of it. At the end of the day, they have a right to go after players just like we do. And if we don't have the assets to win negotiations, we're going to have situations where teams will be able to defeat us in trade opportunities. So the Lakers are in a space where they have to bid with anybody, whether it be one of their rivals or not, for whatever reason they choose. This is the name of the game. So you just got to get involved and throw your best foot forward. Put your best foot forward, toss your hat in the game, and see what you can do for yourself. And if you're willing to overpay, pull the trigger. If not, bow out. That's it. That is all that there is to do. Now, in regards to the Clippers, they have a really, really interesting plethora of players that you can use. And I also believe they may have some second rounders or some type of cachet of assets, future assets that they can toss in. I don't believe too many first round picks, but I'm not certain of what it is that they have. What I can say, though, is that the Brooklyn Nets have been said to only want players, so this is a perfect trade partner to do business with if that's the case, without needing to take on extra trade partners and things of that nature. You can just pick and pluck from the players that the Clippers have and find yourself matching salary. So this would be an easy trade partner for the Nets in regards to getting rid of Kyrie Irving. But the only problem is they would have to be willing to take on multiple multi-year contracts. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be a roadblock in requiring Kyrie Irving for the Clippers. But then again, you would just have to find a third team to take on certain contracts that maybe the Nets wouldn't be willing to take on. But given the fact that it looks like these players that they're asking for, Reggie Jackson, well, I don't know that they're asking for these players. Let me clarify my thought. I matched some salary there with the trade machine and found that there are a plethora of different options that they can use. Luke Kennard is a name that could be used. Reggie Jackson's name could be involved in this. Morris Sr. And you could definitely Covington, all of these different names. You can get a pick and plug a plethora of these names. Norman Powell, you know what I mean? And you could just match up about 3 of those contracts and then find yourself getting to about $37 million, as to which you would be able to swap that for Kyrie Irving's expiring contract. Now, that is a lot of salary coming back on multi-year contracts if you're the Brooklyn Nets and you don't decide to move some of those guys. I don't know that your fan base is going to be entirely too happy if you don't get the right return in regards to Kyrie. I think there's some value to having an expiring contract on your books at the end of the season if you're the Brooklyn Nets, just so you can have your flexibility to possibly create some opportunities to maybe make trades later, taking back salary and maybe some players that you like that may come up available a little later, or you could try your hand, again with a third team coming in and just swapping whatever you're receiving right now right away. So I don't think the Nets are lacking in options in regards to trade packages that they'll receive. Now, how rich those trade packages will be, I'm not certain, but it does seem like they're trying to gather enough trade interest so that they can have a real return here. So I think that's the only way to play it if you're the Nets. You don't want to find yourself just negotiating with only one team when no list has been provided. That's just not what you do for yourself. even if you only have one person or one team rather fully interested, you look for teams so that you can bring that back to the negotiation table with leverage. So that's, I would, if I were the Nets, I would be lying about interest in regards to Kyrie Irving. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. In fact, I don't believe that at all. But I'm telling you, if I didn't have only but one team, I would tell you there are other teams. I would be like, yeah, and then just wait for somebody to deny it. And if they don't deny it, cha-ching. Because at the end of the day, going to the negotiation table with the only team that's interested, if that would be the case, it's basically just giving the player away in a lot of cases. Like, you're basically taking whatever they gift you. So, if you're the Nets, that's not what you can bring back to your organization. Now, the Lakers, my team has these picks on the table, and I think there should be no reason at all for the Nets to not do a deal with the Lakers, because if you're taking back what the Lakers have, we can very easily, again, flip all of what we have somewhere else and still get you what you want. So, it would be, in my mind, a very good return that the Brooklyn Nets would be flipping if they were to acquire what the Lakers have, depending on if they're putting the picks forward or not and what those picks would look like. Unprotected, swaps, or what have you, I don't know. But depending on how rich the Lakers make those picks, that would probably be the best return, given how valuable those picks are and how coveted they are all over the league, given the fact the Lakers have held them so tight. So, and a lot of people think they're going to turn into special players, given the fact that a lot of people don't like our outlook. So this is a situation where the Lakers have been losing games. It makes me wonder if there's something to see there. I don't know, but regardless of the way we've been losing these games, it makes you look at it and say they could be doing things differently to compete. And it seems like they're getting the desired result of losses taking place in regards to what it is that they strategize forth. And for me, I always look around and say, why would I want to lose? Why would I want to lose? Why would I want to lose? And this is an answer right here for different leverage purposes to make yourself look weaker than you are in situations where it may be in your best advantage to decoy such a position. So it's very strange stuff that I'm trying to figure out why the Lakers are doing certain things. And honestly, I don't want to land on just sheer ineptitude and stupidity. I just don't believe that. I honestly don't. I think stupidity is an easy thing to absorb when you're seeing things that appear to be error. But I just always look around and say, what else is going on, man? What else is going on? And so to me, it's like if the Lakers are not positioning themselves one way or another to have a future that is brighter than the present right now, based on what we're seeing on the floor, then the people who are in place have to be replaced, and that's all there is to it, regardless of what ploys or this, that, and the third. We got to have some foresight as to what's coming our way, including the changes in the field and what we'll have to react to when that happens. You build a certain way thinking that the field is going to stay the same, and you end up outdated as a team. We've seen it more than once. We need to not do that. So that's my concern, And watching the Lakers tonight particularly, I know they need to acquire a guy like Kyrie Irving. I know that they need to make a deal and can't afford the Clippers or anybody else to take any players away from them. And that's one of the things that I know in regards to this, and the Clippers, I'm sure, understand that as well. And if they're getting involved, one of the main reasons why they would want to do that is to keep him from going to the Lakers, because we understand that if the Lakers get Kyrie Irving, if they have health, there's a good chance they're going to be another contender in this league, as to which right now most people don't think the Lakers are. So if you're the Clippers, you want to stop that. You want to stop that for a multitude of reasons, and if acquiring Kyrie Irving to help you do that, you'll try it. Now, my thing is Zubats. I think Zubats would be a player that also could be fit in this trade. And if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, it's a player I've said that I think the Brooklyn Nets should be coveting. Now, granted, they have Claxton in place, and when I said that, Claxton was not playing the way that he is right now. But I still think they could use a little more front court help. But then again, if they're reimagining their entire squad, which this could very well be, then that might be obsolete. So it's a lot to consider, man. But I know Cam Thomas for the Brooklyn Nets went off for 44 points, so they need to try to let him step forward, because that boy is not to be played with. And if I'm the LA Clippers, targeting Kyrie Irving, that wouldn't be the only player I'd want off the Brooklyn Nets. I'll tell you that. Ain't the only player I'd want. But, at the end of the day, I'm happy to see Kyrie Irving have interest in the NBA. To see that his play is not only being rewarded by starting the All-Star game, but it's that execs also understand this is someone you should, if not covet, then definitely keep off of other teams. And that means they respect his game to that degree. So that's the type of thing that you want to see if you're rooting for him. Because at the end of the day, what they're trying to prevent is all of his interests. What they're trying to say is that he's such a bad guy and he's so unreliable as a player and he makes such, weird decisions that he shouldn't be on the court given what it is that he deserves. That he should be given some type of extra treatment as it pertains to his mindset and treated differently as a man because of those choices. And while I can understand reacting to someone's choices and saying, hey, look, we got to have some contingencies in place in order for us to have balance, I don't agree with trying to make an example of someone and trying to scold a grown man like a child in situations where you may not agree with what he did or didn't do. If you have to find somebody, you have to suspend somebody, keep it professional. But don't get on here talking about how they must be a better person and you sat down with your wife and now you agree he's a good guy. Like, that's not your place to even agree that he's anything. Who are you? Do we know you're a good guy? And so that situation there just left me in a space where I understand Kyrie Irving should want out of that place. Look at it this way. He's reaching the trade deadline at this point. We're about 4 days away from it. We understand his free agency situation is as it is. He's going to have to get paid for his money. One way or another, he's going to have to try to lock up for multiple years. And the Brooklyn Nets are toying with his value. Why? Because they have him in a situation where they know these things. They know that they have no interest in paying him his contract based on what it is that's in place in the history. They know that he probably doesn't want to return to them as well. And so the significance of him doing this is this. He's been playing very well for this team. In spite of Kevin Durant being out, they have had him showcased and more or less have leaned on him the entire time. And he knows that they have no interest in paying him if he goes down with an injury. You know what I mean? If something goes wrong where he starts slumping and he doesn't play well, this is all bad. It's all reflected in how his free agency would go. And quite frankly, he would not have a whole lot of support in free agency in that area because obviously the situation is at hand. So we know it, controversy and what have you. So with ESPN and all of these different guys pointed in Brooklyn's direction, more or less behind the franchise, it seems to me, and against him and his point of view, they don't paint the picture the way I just did when assessing why he's trying to get away from the situation. It's 4 days away from the trade deadline. The timing is that. That's why this was done then. He's an expiring contract, and they are toying around as if they don't want to pay him or trade him. So they want to let him walk, and that's not in his best interest, he feels, especially given the fact that he's in a situation where he's been treated this way. So for those who don't agree with his choices and what he's done, I can see where you stand, but I can also see his point of view in regards to this. And if I were in his shoes, I would be assessing whether or not I would even have a chance to re-sign with the Brooklyn Nets, let alone if I wanted to. And so this is a situation where they're letting him walk. And he, as far as Kevin Durant is concerned, I don't know why people are really assessing this from a he's leaving him type of situation. Those individuals have communicated and have been standing next to each other the entire time. So whatever the situation is, they know it, and that is good enough for me as a fan. I think that the obvious way of looking at it is saying, oh, he left him, or he demanded a trade first and all that other stuff. But the reality is, we've speculated all summer about how this is going. And at the end of the day, I think they're on the same page. And I think they understand the timing of everything as well. Even though KD says that he was caught off guard, I don't believe that at all. I think that this is a situation that was very foreseeable. And I think it's in his best interest to continue playing it the way that he is and saying, playing dumb more or less, KD. I think it's in his best interest to do that based on his circumstance with the contract and the team. So, this is, at the end of the day, common sense tells most of us that Josiah has made his team in a place where it's very difficult to look at and say, if I'm not aligned the way that Josiah feels I should, my basketball play ain't gonna be enough. And for some athletes, that's gonna be cool. Some of them know they're gonna stay in line, they're gonna get his bag, and it's gonna be easy to work for a boss like that. But other guys are gonna feel, well, you know what? I may not be like Kyrie Irving, but if something comes up in my life, will I be supported? You know, if something goes wrong, will this be how I'm treated? And the answer is yes. The answer is absolutely. And so, if that's not right for you, you're going to move on. And there are other organizations where that is not the case at all. And so it is what it is, I think for a lot of athletes, like I said, it's more about getting a bag and securing their family. And so he'll always have players play for his team. But to what degree? To what level of loyalty? How will they be looking at him based on how he's treated Kai? And the answer is, if it's my eyes looking at him, I ain't over there. I ain't looking at him at all. I'm gone. I'm playing for somebody else. Like, I won't be treated that way. And so that's what it is. But at the same time, I'll also make sure I sign up for what it is that I plan on doing and meet those obligations. So nobody will be reacting to me that way. And Kyrie has to go ahead and respect that as well, as do we all. And I think there's consequences for everything. And so as Kyrie goes to his next place, I say I don't know how many more opportunities he would get, even at the talent level he's at. You know what I mean? He really does have a real crossroads right here. We already know there's plenty of people going to want to blackball him out the league. We know that. But is his choices going to make it easy for them to do that? And that's what he's going to have to answer for us. One day at a time, one game at a time. And that's what it is. And when life happens, and it's not easy to explain why you have to walk away, we know what comes with that. The reaction that is going to be more and more of the same. And I listen to Stephen A. Smith, and he's back on the hate train saying that the trade request is idiotic. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's logical. It's extremely logical. And you're not going to paint that picture because you're behind ESPN. And it's just unfortunate, man. Everyone speaks positively about the Nets. That's what that stands for. That's what it's been stood for a while now. And it's disgusting because it doesn't benefit the players at all. It never benefits the players. Anytime they talk about the Nets, it's like, the players aren't doing enough for the Nets. The players It's never what Sean Marks and Josiah are doing in regards to what's happening. It's never about the team not being good enough. It's never about any of that. It's about what the players aren't doing in response and reaction to the environment or whatever it is that they feel that ain't worth sticking around to for a good portion of the time for whatever reason. James Harden got the hell out of there. Kyrie Irving steps away for any given reason, whatever it may be. I mean, if the place was the best place to be, I think that would be a little harder to walk away from. And I think that's another aspect of the situation. It doesn't get much conversation. I think if Kyrie Irving plays for a lot of organizations during that vaccine situation, it goes a lot of different ways. There are a lot of different ways that can go. And I don't think it's handled the same way everywhere. I really don't. Not to say that they would have been pleased with Kyrie, but all the drama, all this crap, you wouldn't see a lot of this. You wouldn't see a lot of this. And so for me, I'm just like, okay, that's Brooklyn. That's how they get down. Cool. If y'all good with that, if that's the next organization's way of doing things, they're just going to only have a certain amount of people come around. It's going to be a certain type of person that's going to be okay with that. Not everybody, probably not the players you want. That's just being honest with you. So that I'm not going to look at this and say that the Brooklyn Nets fans deserve anything less than the best. I think every fan base deserves the best. We all root with our hearts and pay with our wallets. So we're not outside of this thing. Any of us. We want the best for our organizations, and it isn't fair. And it's not easy for every team to build the same way. In fact, it's impossible for that. I do think that fair market and balancing the market, however best to find that, is what should be sought out. With that being said, when you allow teams to retaliate and use the market to do so by way of letting players go for lesser value or letting players go for ridiculous prices just to spite other teams or to have a favor 20 years from now, some weird stuff that's in place. I'm telling you, that's bad for the market. It's bad. We are seeing it. We've seen it with the Rudy Gobert trade. And if Chris Paul goes for Kyrie Irving, or if the Clippers give away a bunch of bad contracts for Kyrie Irving, I think you'll see more of the same. As I said, it's a market locking mechanism. It's the phrase I used earlier in one of my videos. And that's what I think it does, man. It just puts prices at a point where it's impossible to really get good value for anything you have. And given the fact that a lot of these players on these teams don't really have value to begin with, it's impossible to move. You know, a lot of these players don't have upside, man. And even though these teams want to run them around like they do, when it's time to make trades, none of these guys can move because of it. You want to price everything up, and then you start having to realize the real value of these guys. It's like some of them don't have any. And this is what I'm trying to more or less coach people in understanding when they watch my video. It's like, I'm not a cap expert. I'm not a basketball expert. But I do understand when people are just running around with outdated stuff. That's an easy thing for me to see. And when people are overvaluing things while holding things that don't hold value, and how differently those things would be if they had value, and how much more leverage they actually would hold if that were the case, and how they can get from that point where they are to where they need to be in order for that to be the case. I see it all. And so that's why I try to provide you guys. It's like, that's an easy thing, man. But they just have to get rid of this minutes over strategy mantra that they have that functions this entire thing. It works for the numbers, but it doesn't work for the sport. And as a result, it doesn't work for the numbers. It circles back around and it ends up screwing things up. So that's what I believe. That's what I think. I think that's what the game will show you, unless they cheated by rigging it some weird way. And no, that's what it is, man. I just want people to understand that the NBA, you need size down there. You know, the Clippers, depending on what type of trade they make, if they bring Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George together, if they don't get any size, they deplete themselves of Zubats, which I think is possible. I've heard somebody say they can fill their roster spot with any old center and be cool. That's not true, man. This is not true. And I think the Clippers will go ahead and prove that when they put this together, if they do that. You can have all the talented players in the world. You can have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard out there who are really good rebounders. But once they go up against the Jokic's and the Joels and the Giannis's, the size matters. And I'm telling you, those little guys, it's not going to work out. They may get a game or two in the playoffs, but unless they have the size and the centers to help them with those things, the players that really help them with those things, it's going to be them doing those things, and then you're just going to be hoping that they can stay healthy one by one. And what the heck would anyone believe that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Kyrie Irving are about to stay healthy for? Like, why would you even think that? When you about to lean on them like this without any bigs on the floor? I mean, it's just not smart. It's not smart. I don't have any problem with bringing together super talented people. And I certainly don't have any problem with stepping on your rivals. I don't. I hate being on the other side of it, but I'd do it to you if it made sense to me. But if it doesn't make sense to me, if I'm just doing it to be doing it and it's going to hurt me too, oh man, I think the object of the game is to win. So if I'm kicking my own butt and trying to kick yours, how the heck am I getting a W? I mean, these are the things that we just need to consider as we're running around trying to do whatever it is we're trying to do. I mean, you're not making yourself look strong. You're strategizing backwards. You know, like nobody is going to sit there and say, hey, look at them, what they put together. We're just going to proceed to see how your bad energy turns into losses for you, just like the Kawhi Leonard thing we did. I mean, just like the Chris Paul thing did. Did it ever work? Did stepping on the Lakers ever work for you, Clippers? I mean, even when you did it, we won the championship. Didn't you see how that turned out? Didn't you see what the basketball gods did to you? It doesn't work when people cheat the game. It doesn't work when you be spiteful in sports. Unless you're going to do it on the court in a way that displays the sport in righteously. That's really the only best way, in my opinion, to truly get the W. Because if you're stepping on yourself, making bad trades to get over on others, believe you me, the only person who's going to feel it is you. So I watch the Clippers, you know, they're going to throw their hat in on everything that the Lakers do just by way of the brand. But if you execute a certain trade, you better make sure you're getting back the right return. You can throw smoke in the air and try to push the Clippers to the limit, as Jay Williams said. All that spiteful, weirdo stuff. But at the end of the day, if you pull the trigger on a trade, if it's something that ain't going to make your team better, it will reflect on the court. And if you're expecting people to play healthy, stay healthy next to players that aren't good enough or aren't strong enough, well, you better go study. You better go study it. You better go look where that took place and see how often it worked out. I'm telling you, man, teams be doing, they hustling backwards, man, chasing each other. I was hearing, Memphis fans talk about New Orleans, chasing the players that they want. You better stop doing this dumb stuff. You better chase players for the right reasons. If a guy can help you, can help you. But I'm telling you, when you do that, if you don't strategize properly, you're just making it easy for the team that's getting rid of the player. You're giving them all the leverage they need to hike the price up on you. Are you engaging in that foolishness? So I'm just watching it happen. If I'm Toronto, I'm like, yeah, y'all keep this up. Y'all keep this up. Heck, let's plant some more information. Let's plant some information. Yeah, Memphis definitely wants this player, and they want this one too. New Orleans, see. What your fan base think of that? It's a lot of that going on, by the way. So, as far as this is concerned, man, I just say, hey, Kyrie Irving has suitors. Okay, that's what it is. Joe Tsai, he has suitors. You don't want to pay him. Maybe someone else will consider. Maybe they'll get him into their organization and consider. And that's really what it's about. And so I'm happy for Kai, man. And I hope this manifests into him getting to a spot that works for him, whether it be LA or somewhere else. I really, just for the player, think that he needs to be in a place that is good for him and his family, somewhere where he could find peace, you know what I mean, and basketball, because I think that's most important to him. And so, the Lakers are a hell of an environment. I don't even know if peace is to be found here unless we're winning. We're not peaceful when we're not winning. Ask Russell, there's no fun to be had. We don't even like peace when we're not winning. There's none to be had. So that's the type of environment this is on the court. Off the court is LA, so you know what LA is about. But for us, man, this Laker thing, we've been doing so much losing. It's so degrading to us. Our rivals are sweeping us for years at a time, like the Clippers. We just need to get some winning back in our situation. So if Kai is going to be the guy that's going to help us do it, we're hopeful we can make that happen. If we lose out on Kai, I look for us to try to go after someone else, if that's the plan. But all this losing we're doing, all this mortgaging our future for no reason stuff, it really does need to come to an end. These tickets are too expensive for that, man. He's talking about $100,000 tickets to pay for LeBron to go down there and break the record. I mean, if people knew how ridiculous that actually is based on what they're actually watching on the floor, it's like, nah, that's not even the Lakers' best product, y'all. No, they got players in the G League better than some of the dudes they got out there, man. They're not even, they really not. And I'm not going to be one of them fans that acts like I'm trying to get in with the organization in that way. I want to see good product. I want to see good, affordable product for everybody, because I'm everybody. You feel me? So I ain't up here like, yeah, that's something we should want. Let's keep the prices too high for anybody to pay for it. No, that's not cool. It's not. You're putting value on stuff and you're not giving us the best product. And the Wolves who pay close enough attention notice it's a game that's being run. Not a very good one at that. So I'm not with that, Genie. I'm not going to even pretend like that's something that as a fan I like. I'm happy that you guys are able to make money, and I know it's a family organization, so it's important y'all keep up. But it's the process and the methods. It saps away at the people. I don't know, man. I don't know. At the end of the day, we love our team and we want to see the best product out there for what it is that you're asking for, whether it be ticket prices or cable, whatever. Get us the best product possible while doing it the right way for a long time, and that means sustainability, not mortgaging everything for the short term. So yeah, man, my grievances are endless. It seems. I appreciate the athletes and the product on the floor. I appreciate that it's a stressful job for the coaches, even the referees, everybody. It's not the easiest thing. But I think the world is in a place right now where we need to make some changes to how our outlook is and what we're paying attention to and what we want. The scales that we reach for and stuff like that. I just think we can do better, particularly in sports right now. And so I voiced my opinion. But for the time being, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I'm going to cut it off here. Obviously, there's more to be said about the Kyrie Irving situation and where he's going to be headed. Everything's just rumors and speculation on my end. I don't know anybody, but I do pay close attention to what I see. And a lot of this stuff is just leverage grabbing and misdirection and people hating and people trying to mold other people's character and just a bunch of other stuff that I hope players can be liberated from soon, very soon. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.